Hi, welcome to music theory class. So glad you could make it today. Today we're going to talk just a little bit about sevenths, ninths, 11ths, and 13ths. We're going to build some chords, use a little bit of mathematics. A chord is made from 3 notes of the major scale. We're going to just stick with C major. That's the most common, people are most familiar with it. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. If you take the first note of the scale and build a chord on that note, since it is the first note of the scale, it will be called the 1 chord. And we'll use every other note to build that chord, 1, 3, and 5, C, E, and G, and we have a C major triad. Now, you can go through the rest of the scale. We won't take the time to do it right now, but if you build a chord beginning with the second note of the scale, you'll have a 2 chord, D, F, A, every other note, D, F, A. The third note of the scale is E, so if you use every other note, you would build E, G, and B to make a 3 chord. And 2 and 3 are both minor chords. And then we get to 4. The fourth note of the C major scale is F. So the 4 chord would be F, A, C, again, using every other note. And the 4 chord is major. 5 chord is major as well. It will begin with G, which is the 5th note of the C major scale. G, B, and D would make up the 5 chord using, again, every other note. And the 6 would be a minor, A, C, E. 7 is a diminished chord. We'll talk about that some other time, B, D, and F. Now, once you've established those major triads, you can add to them. They're tertian chords, which means it's built on every other note. And using the same pattern, 1, 3, and 5, the next in the sequence would logically be 7. Okay? So if you play 1, 3, 5, and 7, you would have what we call a major 7th chord. Now normally, we'll get into the details again later, but normally we will flat that 7th to make it a dominant 7th. C, E, G, and B flat makes a dominant 7. Now, if we want to add to the 7th, we would play 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Again, keeping it every other note. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Keep the 7th flatted. And that makes a 9th chord. The 9th note of the scale is really the 2nd note of the scale. Same note, it's D. And a little trick that you can remember that might help you with all of this, if you add the 2nd note of the scale to a 7th chord, you get a 9. 7 plus 2 is 9. Now, if you want to go further, you can play 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. 11th note of the scale is the 4th note of the scale. So the 4th plus the 7th, 7 plus 4 is an 11th chord. And the reason we can do this is because all these 7ths, 9ths, 11ths, and 13ths all function like a 7th chord. They will all have the 7th note of the scale in there. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11 makes an 11th chord. We can go one step further and add the 13th. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. Now, when you're playing these on a guitar or the keyboard or whatever, you probably won't play them in exactly that order, but those notes build a 13th chord. And the 13th is also the same as the 6th. 6 plus 7 equals 13. And those are the chords that make up the 7th, 9th, 11th, and 13th. The dominant 7th, I mentioned a minute ago, is called the dominant because it's most commonly used with the 5 chord. And again, this is going to be another lesson, but each of those scale degrees, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, are named. The first is the tonic, the 5th is the dominant, and it has become so popular. It's one of the most popular chords you'll use in any song, no matter what instrument you're playing. The 5, the dominant, and 5 always goes to 1. 5, 7 will always go to 1. And you can make other 5 chords. You can make other dominant chords, and they would be the 5 of something else and would be called secondary dominants because really, logically, there's only one 5 chord in any key. So if you create another 5 chord, it's going to be the 5 of something else. Are you still with me? All right, I'm in the key of C. Suppose I want to play an E major. We already discussed a while ago, E is the 3 chord, and it is minor. E, G, and B. If I want to play E major, I have to change that G to a G sharp, and it becomes E major. Now it's the 5 of something. And you just need to count backwards from E, go back 5. D, C, B, A would be its 1 chord. Okay, so E major is the 5 of A. Now remember, we're in the key of C. A is what? Raise your hand if you know. A in the key of C is 6. So an E major in the key of C would be a 5 of 6. It's called a secondary dominant. And there are other secondary dominants. Perhaps we ought to save those for another day. I don't want to confuse you too bad. Dominants, secondary dominants, 7ths, 9ths, 11ths, 13ths, all the math involved. It's a lot of fun. Chords can be a very amusing, entertaining thing to understand and to play. There's a link below this video that you probably should click on if you're interested in music theory. There's a free report that explains why music theory might be of benefit to you, whether you're a director or an arranger, a keyboardist, a guitarist, it doesn't matter. Music theory can help you. Click on the link. Go ahead and get the free report. See if music theory might be something that would help you.